to the community. Cora, is there something official that you want to share about MHI right now?
If you wait just a minute, because okay, no, everything okay, and we are online. We are recording right now. Okay. I think we can just go ahead quickly.
Okay. Health trainer Cairo, in the beautiful town of Alexandria at the Mediterranean Sea, and I met him in 2013 at our conference in Sharm el-Sheikh. I met him for the first and the only time, and he really deeply impressed me. The way he shared, he was a very humble person with a deep knowledge of mental health and also traditional Chinese medicine. At that time, he was a programmer for IBM, and he was already realizing that there's going to be a change, a transformation in his life, because that didn't fit to his life anymore. And he also took part in the Lucia intensive training after the Sharm el-Sheikh IMA meeting at that time. So we also speak the categorical language of color. That's also what is connecting us. And he has founded and he's also he's the representative for Egypt in the world for Qigong and the Tai Chi Day. And he studied Chinese medicine and got a diploma in Beijing in 2010. He's also certified life coach, group and team coach, and executive coach. And Mohamed, so I would like you to share, how did this idea come up to coach COVID-19 patients online?
First, I would like to say hello, everyone. This is Mohamed Essa from Egypt. I'm sending my warm wishes for you all to be healthy and stay safe in what's happening in the world nowadays. Actually, I started the journey for self-development and mind-body science from a long time. And it started by when I was around 16 years old. I started to heal myself from asthma. I used to have asthma, and I helped myself at the age 18. I was totally free from the asthma by just only meditation. So from that age, I'm now 41. From that age, 18 till now, I believe in the power of mind, that the person can heal himself and help himself to get free from any disease by just the power of mind, by the power of self-healing. And when the coronavirus started to spread in the world, I wrote on my Facebook account that I will do free coaching sessions or holistic coaching sessions for anyone who are confirmed to have coronavirus. Actually, after this announcement, I got 4 persons, and I started to work on them in the same time. And I was looking actually to the what is behind that disease. Because according to the Meta Health and what I studied in the Meta Health, that every disease, there is a traumatic event behind it. And according also to the Chinese medicine, every disease, there is an emotion behind it. So I was looking to the event and the emotion behind that. And actually I was looking for what is common between them all. What the belief that is common between them all? What is the emotion that is common between them all? And actually, I from the first session, it was clear for me what is the emotion behind that, and what is the belief behind that. Because it was too strong and too intensive, and actually I reached some very important points when I worked with the first case and the second case. And when I started to work with the third case and the fourth case, I started to ask them directly about these events and about these emotions, and they started to confirm what I'm saying.
One moment, Mohamed. So,
yeah.
Did they all had a test so that were they confirmed coronavirus positive?
Yes. Yeah, they are all they are all confirmed by a medical side that they have coronavirus. One of them is a doctor, and she's working in a hospital in the UK, in London, and she got the virus from the hospital because she deal every day with the coronavirus cases. So all of them, they were isolated at home, and they asked to stay isolated. And I was doing for them the coaching sessions in the isolation period. There is only one case that had a heart attack because of the coronavirus, and that took from me 3 sessions. That's the only one I did 3 sessions for it. And at the others, I did only 2 sessions for everyone.
Okay, so 2 sessions for 3 clients, for 3 of the clients, and 1.
Yes. Yeah.
Test. So, do you want to share one of the first client cases?
Yes, I have a presentation. I can there is a lot of information, detailed information. I can share the presentation with you. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Is it? Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it. Yes.
Okay. Here is the presentation. Here is about the traumatic event behind the coronavirus. And this next slide is. This is the like statistics for the what's happening in the world right now. I took it by Egypt time 9 a.m. and I wrote that the number of clients that I work with is 4 clients, and I will share with you the case studies that I did. There's 4 case studies. I wrote. I made a summary for all the symptoms that I got from them. The first case is case Rania from the UK, and she started to get the symptoms of the virus on the 7th of March. I started the session on the 29th. Okay. After 6 days, she was totally recovered. I would like to say something about this case. When I was doing actually this is a coaching session. It was remote. It was just cognitive questions and releasing for the emotions by cognitive ways. Rania is working in a hospital in London. She got the virus from the hospital. After she got the virus, she was confirmed by the hospital that she had a coronavirus. They asked her to stay home. She stayed home for around 3-4 days, and she started to her symptoms to increase a lot. She started to vomit. She got very weak. She went to emergency in the hospital after around 4 days, and they did for her some stuff, and then she went back home. And while she was staying home, I started to do the coaching session for her, and her voice was very weak, and she shared with me these symptoms. Okay. The next slide. The symptoms was sore throat. Okay. So sore throat and vomiting and diarrhea, and that started on the from the start of the symptoms, from the start of the catching the disease, and then by 14 March, next slide, she started sneezing, coughing, headache, sweating, fever, and I started to, and that stayed for a long time. I would like to share something about Rania. When I started to work on her on the 29th of March, this was the first session. When I do the first session, I do next day after 24 hours a follow-up session. So I ask them, did you notice anything? Is there any change? What's going on? And she,
Mohamed,
yeah.
Can you just share which symptoms did she have when you started with her on 29th of March?
Okay. She had the fever. She had fever and the headache and the pain in the body and the knees and the bones, like pain in the bones or the joints, exactly in the joints. Pain in the joints, not the bones, the joints. And the voice, it wasn't clear. The voice it wasn't clear and very weak voice. And the fatigue. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
And also there is another one I would like to share. The sense of smelling and tasting wasn't there. The sense of tasting and smelling wasn't there. And she was telling me, I'm just eating and I don't taste and I don't smell anything. And after I did the first session, the next day, after 24 hours, 50% of the symptoms, or I can say 50% of the symptoms of the status of the disease were recovered. So we are speaking about 50% enhancement after 24 hours. And from that session, the first session, and that happened for all the cases, and that's common for all the cases. For the cases that had fever and have pain in the body, they all shared after the first session, the fever stopped and it didn't come back again, and the pain almost gone by 70 to 80%. And they started to be more energetic. So they are not fatigued anymore. They started to walk. Some of the cases, and I will share that for a specific case, I think 2 cases, they had a kind of a problem in keeping balance. When they walk, they are not balanced. They lose the balance easily. After the first session, for who suffered from that symptom, the balance symptom, they started to walk and to do some effort. And that was for Rania. Any questions about Rania? And I will move to the next case.
Yes, Mohamed?
Yeah.
I'd like to ask if you can go back the first slide that you shared. Which was the date when when the first symptoms appeared with the sore throat and the vomiting and the diarrhea?
Okay, that was on the. Okay, I will get back on the 7th of March. If you look to the right of the presentation, symptoms started 7th of March, and the other symptoms started on the 14th. You know, because she's a medical doctor, she are aware about the dates and the order of the symptoms. So then the 7th of March, she started sore throat, vomiting, diarrhea, and that kept for a few days till the 14th. I believe, yes. On the 14th, she went to the hospital, to the emergency room.
So that was after a week, and also the symptoms changed. So this might, in the meta health perspective, be like this typical cascade of things that are coming after each other, that they're appearing like new conflicts, perhaps by the symptoms and these kinds of things. Maybe.
Actually, yes. Actually, I would like, at the end of maybe I present all these cases, I would like to share maybe what was happening for every case from the perspective of the mood and what's going in their life. I will move to the next case.
Okay, so Mohamed, so you will share the cases, you will share the timeline of each case, and then you will summarize it and tell us about the mental state and the emotions. Okay, good.
Yes, I will do that. So you, at the end of sharing the cases, I will share what was going on for every case, okay?
Yes.
Okay, the next case is Naveen, and she was from Dubai. She's living in Dubai. She got the virus on the 18th of March, and the session started on the 25th. She recovered in 6 days, total recovery in 6 days. The symptom is total body pain, sore throat, fever 1 time to 2 times per day, back pain, headache. She lost the smelling and tasting sense. And next slide. Oh, yes. When I was working with Naveen, I asked her, "What do you feel right now after feeling that you are getting energetic and you are almost totally healed now?" She told me that I was totally collapsed before. I was totally collapsed, and she was in a very severe state. Actually, all the cases, their status was very severe. The symptoms were very strong. They were suffering. They were some of them they had a problem, and they had a problem to speak. They had a challenge to speak and a challenge to walk. Some of them also. And Naveen, I did for her also 2 sessions. And okay, Naveen, I will share also. She shared with me that she was on when the symptoms start. She was taking medications. She was on Panadol, and she was taking a dose of vitamin C 4 times a day. When she started the first session with me, she stopped the medication because the next day she felt that there is something good is happening in her body. She started to recover, and she started to be energetic. She stopped the medicine totally. So starting from the 13th of March, because the symptoms started on 20th, she stopped the medicine, and after 6 days she recovers. Actually, I was doing this session is 1 session, and then I stay for around 3 days. I give him a period to recover and the body to do the healing and self-healing, and then I do another session. So it's almost 6 days to be totally healed. Any question about Naveen from Dubai? Okay. If there is no questions, I will move to the next case.
Could I just confirm with you, did she also stop the vitamin C as well as the Panadol?
Can you repeat the question and back again, please?
Sorry, with the medication, that included that she stopped taking the vitamin C, she stopped everything.
Yeah, after the first session, she stopped everything. And as in the presentation, I wrote here, after the first session, no medication. I don't know I don't know if you can see that in the presentation. Can you see it in the presentation? Is the presentation clear? Or I don't know.
Yes, we can see it, but there's something gray on it. But we can see that after the first session, no medication. That means no paracetamol and no vitamin C.
Yes, yes, totally no medicine. Yes. Any other questions, or shall I move to the next?
Do you know how she got it?
Actually, no. I don't have any information. I can ask her if you if there's any important information. I can ask her. Okay, I will move to the next case. The next case is Safa from France. And Safa, the sentence started on the 20th of March. I think okay, wait, please. I just need to. I think I need to check these dates. Maybe. Okay, wait. Safa. Wait, I think I didn't change it from the V1. You wait, please. Yes, Safa. Oh, it's the same. It's the same. It's the same. 20th and 20th of March, and the healing session started on the 30th of March. And the symptoms were very high fever. That's how she described it. Very strong headache, difficulty in breathing, fatigue. Okay, and other symptoms: can't walk, blurry vision, pain in the chest near the heart, and body shivering. That was her symptoms, and she recovered after 8 days. And actually, the thing that's different of the case of the Safa that I did for her, only one session in the first around the first 3 weeks, only one session, and then because she was in Paris, she is not local resident in Paris, and she was moving from city to city, and she had a problem with the visa and staying in France. After the first session, she stopped 3 weeks, and then I did for her another session to just make sure that everything is okay. But what surprised me is from the first session, she started to recover, and by the 8th day, around the 8th or the 9th, she was totally recovered by her own. And I will share at the end of these cases what I was doing in every session. So Safa almost got to one session to be totally recovered, and that the recovery were in around 8 days. The next session, the next case is for Jack from the UK, the symptoms started from 16 February. I started the session with him on the 28th of March. Actually, the case of Jack is different than the other cases. That when he catches the coronavirus in Hong Kong, he was in Hong Kong, and he catches that in Hong Kong. When he returned to the UK, he got a heart stroke. The coronavirus caused for Jack a heart attack, and he went into operation. And he did a heart operation, and he was dealing with two things: the coronavirus and the recovery from the heart operation in the same time. And in the UK, they asked him to stay home and to be in isolation period. Actually, I started to speak with Jack on around 24th of February. He told me, he just sent me a message. He's a friend. He told me just send me some healing energy. I told him, I asked him what's going on. He told me, and then he started to tell me. I told him that I can do for you some healing sessions if you can speak. He told me that I cannot. I cannot speak. I cannot walk. I'm very weak. I'm recovering from the operation. From that time, from the 24th of February, that I started to speak with Jack, I was following with him to do some meditation, to do some hypnosis, to do positive affirmations every 4 or 3 days. By his own, actually, because he was almost very weak to take any more instructions or to speak. And on the 28th of March, I started to do with him the first session. He recovered after 3 sessions. I did 2 sessions for the coronavirus and 1 session for the heart recovery. So it was totally 3 sessions. He recovered almost after around from 10 to 12 days, from 10 to 12 days. And almost the corona symptoms disappeared and from between 6 and 7 days. And I started to deal with the heart problem after the 7 days. And he reached the total recovery around 10 to 12 days. Next slide. The symptoms for Jack is heart attack, heat in the body, and that's the heart attack is on the 16th of February. When I started to walk with him, well, actually, I would like to share here that the heat and the fever and the sore throat and the running nose, that was when he's on the 16th of February that started, and when he got the stroke, that was a symptom at that time. And the period from 16th February to 28th of March, he started to recover by his own without, and he was on medication. I will share the medication that he was taking. But actually he was passing through peak times. All of us are aware about the peak times of healing. And sometimes he is okay, and sometimes he's not okay. Sometimes he's okay, sometimes. And every time he told me he was believing that the coronavirus is taking control back again. Is taking control back again. When I started the session with him on the 28th, next slide. He was actually, I was in a mental state is not the best. He was actually was suffering from negative thoughts, negative beliefs about himself for recovery and if he will recover or not. He was feeling very weak. He's a man who is a type of man who is very active. He liked to garden. He liked to go out. He liked to go take his boat and go to the sea. A kind of man, he liked to travel. And suddenly he stayed home, and he was and he stayed in isolation. And actually, also it is for him. It's kind of was depressing for him that he cannot move, and he is losing his energy, and he wanted to take care of his garden and to go and do his daily activities, and he couldn't. When I started with him on the 28th of March, he was suffering from coughing, weakness, losing balance, negative thoughts, and he was suffering that the symptoms of the coronavirus is kind of taking control back again of the body. After I did for him the first session, and that was on the 28th of March, the next day, 24 hours later, I asked him, Jacques, how is it now? He started to move. He told me, this is the first time that I go back to the garden. I did some work in the garden today. He told me it is not very much, but I did. And that's a good news. He told me that I feel energetic. I feel positive. I asked him about the medication that he was on. And that's on the first session. I asked him about the medication, and I wrote him. I wrote them actually. I wrote them here. It's I'm not sure about how to pronounce them actually, because I'm not a medical side person. But I think it's just Lipitor 80 milligram, and aspirin 75 milligram, Rampil 2.5 milligram, and that's for blood pressure. And bisoprolol, and that's fumarate tablets, and clopidogrel 75 milligram. All these medications and for the heart attack and for the heart operation, to recover from the heart operation. Any questions about Jack? Okay.
Mohamed, there was somebody before who was asking about the ages of those clients, so which would be interesting to know about how old were Jack and the other ones.
Okay, I can share with you here. For Dr. Rania, she was born in 1982, and Safa, she was born in 1967, and Niveen, I don't have the birth date of Naveen, but she almost, I can say, Naveen is around 45 or something like that, 45, 50, or that range. And Jack, I don't have his birth date also, but I can say he's around 70 years old. 70. He's an old man.
Can I
Actually,
ask a question about Jack?
Yes, please.
Sorry, I don't have my video on, do I? So did he have no other symptoms of coronavirus before he had the heart attack? Was that the first time that they found out he had coronavirus?
According to what he told me, but I'm not sure from this answer. I can get back to him to ask him about that. But according to the sequence that he was telling me, he got the heart attack first. He got the heart attack first before he know that he okay. Has a corona.
So he got tested when he was in hospital, presumably, and then they found out he had COVID.
Yes. Actually, this for the cases. I shared all the information about the cases. If there is any questions about the cases, just please tell me, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. And the next slide, I'll speak about the involved organs, or from my view, from the view also of the Chinese medicine that was involved in that disease. Any questions? Okay, I'll move to the next slide. I wrote it about the involved organs. The involved organs are the lungs, for sure, and the heart, and the kidneys. For me, I noticed all of them, the lungs and the kidneys, they were involved. And that's from the perspective of the Chinese medicine. And how I knew that the lungs and the kidneys, all of them, they suffered from back pain. The sense of losing balance and back pain is related to the kidney. And Dr. Rania, I will share the case of Dr. Rania. Dr. Rania, she's also doing, she studied Reiki, and she do some healing modalities, different healing modalities. She was speaking to me, and she asked me about the back pain. I told her that's related to the kidney. She did for herself a healing session on the kidney, the symptoms of the back pain and some of the body pains disappeared, and she started to be more energetic.
Mohamed,
yes.
I just want to share for the people who are not familiar with traditional Chinese medicine. So you are now talking from the organs, from the context of traditional Chinese medicine, and because the bones are also related to the water element, so that's why you made the correlation from the back pain to the kidney. So that's not meta health, that's traditional Chinese medicine.
Actually, exactly. My analysis and my diagnosis to the case is that the fluids that start to happen in the lungs, that's referred to the kidney. And that's say that there is imbalance in the kidney, and the symptoms also in the body, like losing balance, and also the pain in the back. That's all of that refers to the kidney. Okay. Some of the cases, the symptoms refer to the heart, and that's for sure Jack, the heart attack, and I believe Safa, because she felt there is a pain near to the heart, in the chest, near to the heart. Even if it is in the chest, but being near to the heart, that also refers to the heart area and the heart energy from the Chinese medicine. Okay, and that's from my diagnosis actually for the cases. Any questions about the organs or internal organs?
Yes, Mohamed, can you share? There was a question for Dr. Manorama from India. Welcome, Dr. Manorama. The symptoms of the lungs, the distress, the respiratory distress, were there signs of pneumonia? So what exactly were they diagnosed with, which kind of lung disorder?
You mean by the hospital?
By the hospital or their own diagnosis, like Dr. Weiner? She is a doctor, maybe she diagnosed herself.
Actually, she didn't share with me that question. I can send her actually right now, maybe while we're on the meeting, maybe she can reply back to me. Can you tell me the question so I can write it back to her right now?
What symptoms were there of the lung? Did they have pneumonia or other symptoms of the lungs? So what exactly? Because you shared that some had distress, respiratory distress. So what exactly, how did it show up?
Okay. How you... Okay.
Yeah, and if an X-ray was done, because Dr. Weiner, you said that she went to the hospital after 7 days when her symptoms got worse. You can also ask her if they did an X-ray of her chest.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, Mohamed, and just also share, because you've very precisely shared about the kidney context. That's water element. So which element are the lungs and which element does the heart belong to?
Okay, yes, okay. The lungs are metal element and the heart is fire element. The liver is wood and the spleen is earth. I would like to share, there's only one case that she reported to me that she had a blurry vision, and I mentioned that, and that's related to the liver. Because the eyes, in the Chinese medicine, the eyes is related to the liver, the energy is the liver, okay? Any questions about the organs, or can I move to the next slide?
Yes, I just want to share, I just want to ask one thing, Mohamed, and thank you first of all for this detailed analysis of their disease processes. So from the 4 clients, 3 have a background that is non-European. Did I get that right?
You have one?
You've got 4 clients. Jack, he's British.
Yes.
And the other one was from the Middle East, from Dubai.
Yes, I will share the nationality. Actually, that's, I think maybe that's also maybe.
I'm not, yeah, because 3 of them, the 3 women, all had affections of the taste and the smell. Is that correct?
2 had an affection of the taste and the smell. Yes, 2. Not all of them.
Not all of them.
Not all of them. Yes, 2.
Okay, because later you can also share the meaning of taste and smell, because that's different in different cultures. Yes, so
yes, maybe, yes. Yes, actually, I think you're right, sure. The nationalities is Jack is British. The other 3 are Egyptians. But they live in not in Egypt. They live in Dr. Rania. She lives in the UK from around 2 years. She's working there, and Safa in Paris, and Naveen in Dubai. She's Egyptian also, but she lives in Dubai. And Jack is British, and he lives in England. Okay.
This is actually very, very interesting, I think, because what I heard from the statistics, what I read from the statistics is that there are often people who are more strongly affected than others who are actually living somewhere abroad, who are not like in their home countries. That would make us more susceptible to higher symptoms. This is something that was shared, like the population from either Somalia or also Finland, who are living in Sweden, are those who have the most dramatic cases. So I followed that a little bit. So this is interesting to hear.
Actually, you know what? Actually, I noticed that, and I wasn't sure because the symptoms that I have seen for these cases, the Egyptian cases, it was severe. It was very strong, and in Egypt, yes, we have coronavirus in Egypt, but and there is a case that that I know personally. The symptoms is not that strong, and I know I said it seemed that the people, when they are out of the country or out of Egypt for the Egyptians, the symptoms are very strong, and I couldn't have any idea. And I have a question about that, why that happens, or what is the meaning of that. I couldn't have any clue actually. Yes,
yeah, I think it's interesting, yeah. And Meta Health would have an answer to that, because when you're out of your own community, this would easily trigger some special relays or some special
yes.
traumatic triggers about abandonment and so on. So when you're not feeling in the right environment, this is often something, even if you're regenerating, which is exaggerating the symptoms, and this could be just the case here.
Yes, yes, I believe so also. I believe so also. Thank you for sharing that actually and confirming what I found also. Any other comments? Okay, I will go to the next slide. It's about the traumatic event, and I will share what all of them have in common. When I track the events they pass through before the symptoms starts, and and before they get confirmed that they have the coronavirus, and I tracked this event, and I started to do a questionnaire for them, and I found common areas, which is expectation, self-worth. They pass through an event, they have a challenge toward the self-worth, and they had a self-de-evaluation. And the result of that is deep grief. And other point is they built a belief about themselves and about their self-esteem, that this value, self-value, self-worth, they will never ever able to regain it back again, and it will be forever like that. All of them shared that. I did in Egypt a kind of a webinar for the Egyptians, for the public community, and I invited the 3 Egyptians on that webinar, and they all shared the same and confirmed that they all passed through that. Expectation, self-worth, deep grief, limited self-belief about the self. And there is a point here I would like to share. All that, the expectation, the self-worth, and the deep grief, and the limited self-belief, it was cyclic. And I will elaborate more what I mean by cyclic. Cyclic, I mean that the event they passed through before the coronavirus, it wasn't the first time to happen. It was repeated several times before, maybe in several years or from a long time. And that repetition of that event, it was empowering the self-de-evaluation, and empowering the grief, and empowering the limiting self-belief that they will not able to regain the self-worth. And it was something like rooting the belief inside them.
Mohamed?
Yeah.
There is a question. Can you elaborate what you mean with expectation? That was a question from, I think it was Deborah who asked the question.
Okay, I will share one of the cases stories. She had a conflict with someone, And she was expecting that that person is seeing her as a value, and she was expecting that that person give her a higher value, but actually that didn't happen. So her belief about herself and her self-worth and self-value dropped suddenly, and in a very strong way. And she felt that she was not able to get that value again, especially that that person started to say some words and he started to actually to tell her some words and beliefs about her that actually affecting her value and her image. Her image was totally affected, and that was in front of other people, and that's why she felt that she was not able to correct that image back again, because it is in front of all the people. She felt that humiliated, and she felt down, and she felt that this is my image and I will not able to change it, and why he's saying that to me. And she started to feel sad, and she went on a deep grief also. And she built a belief that she will not able to correct that, and she kept that inside her, and that was from years. That event happened, and before she got the coronavirus, she got a conflict with the same person, and she was triggered. She was triggered on that past event. And I would like to say here, all of the 4 cases, they were triggered, and they passed through several events and several situations on the same, and they were always triggered on the expectation, self-worth, deep, and they get deep grief, and they empower the belief about themselves that they will not able to get the value of the self-value back again. Any questions here?
Yeah, thank you so much, because this just confirms the kind of investigation that I did in those cases. And what we see here is that this virus actually would present more like just like a normal like immunity booster, but it is actually, because it is novel, it's going and triggering just in the places where you already were primed. Like it is going into where you already felt vulnerable before, just what you stated. So it was like re-triggering some events that they already had, and therefore their self-beliefs, and especially the self-worth question is also relating what researchers found out, that it is more a problem of the microcirculation in certain tissues. And this would be down to, when we are talking about the circulation and blood vessels, this would be a self-worth issue concerning the affected region. So this is absolutely confirmed by your findings. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, welcome.
Yes, Mohamed, Deborah has a question again, and Deborah asked that first of all, she thanks for the example for expectation, and then she's asking if you're correlating the expectation of the case that you just shared with the kidney in traditional Chinese medicine terms. That's Deborah's question. So to which organ do you link the expectation? That's the question.
Actually, expectations. Expectation. It can be linked to different organs, but I can share for these cases mainly because it depends on how because there is different organs or many organs involved in the expectations, I can link them to two organs. The first organ is the spleen, and the other is the kidney. But the scenarios that that I have mentioned, it was emotional, and they pass through high expectations, high emotions, and was sudden change, and it was shocking. So the idea of expectations and shocking make the most of the effect on the kidney. Because in Chinese medicine, thinking is related to the spleen and the stomach. The power of thinking comes from the spleen and the stomach. But expectations and the shock, when there happens a shock, does affect the water element in the body, and that's why when someone they pass through a shock, they may feel heat, and they feel the sweating all over the body. And it's a water element, and it's affect the water element strongly. And for the people, even in the daily life, when someone pass through a shock, they may suffer from back pain. The shock can trigger the kidney and strongly, and affect the kidney strongly. That's for the expectation, Dr. Kwesi. Any other questions?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I don't know much about mental health. I have a strong interest. I'm an EFT practitioner, emotional freedom technique, and a mindfulness teacher. When you show this slide and the traumatic event and all this expectation, self-worth, deep grief, I felt, I have all of that. But as you was talking, I could feel the fear raising, like saying, "Oh, if I have all of this, I have more chance to get the corona." But when you said that these clients, these people had also the strong belief that this was kind of a permanent stuff, then I told immediately myself, I don't have this belief. I don't have this belief in the permanence. Things will always be like this. I have also the cycle, a repetition of this. So in my own life, I have I'm 58, I have all these struggles. Plus, my mom died 31st of October last, and on the 10th of March, when the corona hit the country, I live in the UK, I lost my beloved dog. And so it was horrendous. My dog died, was hit by a van. I was at work, so I received a phone call. I was really very vulnerable. But what I would like to contribute is that as long as we have a practice, something, I have my own practice and it helps me. I'm a Buddhist, I do the chanting, for example. I'm Yoren. Many of you must have heard of this practice.
Okay.
And, I don't know, so I feel quite safe. But said that, I feel this event obviously is challenging. And here and now, the fear pops up. I have strategies like, you will laugh now. I have 58. You see this? This is a security blanket. So nighttime, when I feel fearful, like a child, I hug the security blanket.
Okay, yes.
Well, it works. I'm using less and less anyway. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So you want me to answer your question?
No.
Okay, okay, thank you.
There are two questions.
Yes.
From Avnita from the UK. She says that many of the UK health workers who are from an ethnic minority background have died from COVID-19. So she wants to know if you have an idea why so many of the ethnic minority workers in the UK NHS system have died.
Not just ethnic minorities, it's just, it is health workers, but they've noticed predominantly ethnic minorities.
Yes.
I mean, like doctors and nurses and all that.
Yeah.
Her question is, people died from what background?
They were UK health workers, like doctors and nurses, and they were from a minority background in the UK.
Oh, yeah. I think, like, as Cora shared, because they are out of their homeland, and that may make a specific part of the brain active because they are out of their safe area, and that's from the mental health also background. And I see also it's also from all the science background, from the Chinese also philosophy background. When you are out of your land and you feel that you are out of your land, your nervous system is not working in the normal mood, because maybe you don't feel safe enough, you don't feel rooted, you don't feel that or the person he or she don't feel rooted, they don't feel that they are supported. There are in their land, in the land they are in right now, and that's all happening in the background, on the subconscious. Maybe they are not aware, but they don't feel strong. I believe that the people, when they are out of their land, if they don't feel strong, they are vulnerable to specific diseases, and especially from the point of view of the Indian culture, with they put the 7 chakras, they refer to the perineum area. That's the basic chakra. If the person is not rooted, they are out of their roots or out of their land, the basic chakra get affected, and they may start to get diseases and problems related to if they don't feel rooted in the work or the land, or also related to money, from the perspective of being rooted and being there and being stable and being established. All this from the Indian point of view, it affects the basic chakra. And from my point of view is the balance of this part is the person start to work on that belief. And actually, for me, because I travel a lot, I changed my belief about the definition of my home and my country. I considered all the places my home and all the countries are my country. And I started to do that actually from 2 years, to just feel safe and feel, you know what? Your question is opening for me as a very important point. The feel of belonging. The feel of belonging. Do I belong to this land or not? Do I belong to these people or not? If you will notice the traumatic event analysis that I did, I believe from all the cases stories, they lack the feel of belonging. They lack the feel of belonging, especially when they had a problem with other partner. All of them, they have a problem with the other partner, and all of them have a challenge. The challenge in the feeling of belonging. I belong to that group. I belong to that person or not. So thank you for your questions, because it also confirms that the feel of belonging is one of the beliefs that trigger that virus. Thank you.
That's really beautiful, because, sorry,
Thank you.
One of the things that it really made me think as you were talking about that is how a virus, can redefine our social boundary, our constructs. And as you were talking, it made me quite emotional in this, you know, in this change of adopting that we are, you know, that we're all citizens of the world, that we're brothers and sisters, and that we exist and belong together collectively on this singular globe. And that this is the possibility of the shift that we could be, you know, embracing and part of, you know, the learning that can come from this.
Yes, yeah, sure. Actually, all the cases that I work with, they pass through at the end after the healing. They did the healing sessions with me. They pass through a kind of stages of self-awareness. And I consider it enlightenment state. And when I asked them what that virus made for you, they started to, most of them, and that was in the webinar where the three were there, they said, we are aware what we did to ourselves. We are aware that we don't want to get back again to the self-worth and deep grief and expectations and limiting beliefs. And we are taking decision right now to start a new life. And, you know, two of them shared the word new life. And actually, you know, I can say that the experience of dealing with these cases was very emotional to me, because I'm dealing with people, they are struggling to stay alive. They are struggling to continue life. And when I made them aware about what they made to themselves, to their self, and what's behind the disease. And when I told them, I shared with them that the disease is not against you. The coronavirus is coming to help you in what you left in the past. So it is now, the question is for you. Do you want to do your job or let the corona continue? All of them, they said, okay, we will do it. We will do it. And from that point, the healing started. Yeah. Thank you very much for sharing your ideas. Thank you.
So Mohamed, you gave them back their self-confidence when by sharing the last thing that you said, so that they could take back their own self-responsibility and do their thing.
Yes. Actually, my work is knowing where the weakness, and through the questioning, altering and coaching them to go through back again to the self-confidence and balance and going through a relieving state for the deep grief. And actually in 2 sessions, they were totally healed. Yeah. Thank you. And any other questions before I move to the next slide?
Yes, there are some more questions from Peter. Peter Don, he asked, did the coronavirus symptoms come in the second phase, in the healing phase?
From my observation, it is in the stress phase. And I can say that, and that's why I will share with you some of the stories of the cases. When Jack returned from Hong Kong to England, he had a traumatic event was happening in his life at that time. When Dr. Rani in England, she got the virus, she was doing healing session with another therapist, and she was triggered with the past. And she, so the past events got triggered back again. She went through the same feelings back again. And she started to think about them back again. The same event or I can say the same beliefs and the same emotions that caused the virus. And these questions I asked for Safa yesterday, and I asked her, are you still in the stress, or there is a stress happening in your life when you catch the coronavirus? She said yes, and it is still there, but she's taking the situation now from another perspective and direction after she got the awareness of the coronavirus. So all of them, they are in a stress phase. And I would like to you also, Dr. Kwesi, when I was with you on the phone the last week, you say that that's make it clear for the doctor when he died. Can you share that, please? Also, I think that's that
yes.
case is also interesting.
Yes, that is about. I'm not sure if the word is right. The name is right, Dr. Lee. That was the eye doctor who first got it. That there is a new virus causing a disease similar to SARS. That's how they called it first, SARS, also COVID related. And when he was in a group, in a WhatsApp group or in a chat group with some other doctors, and he warned people, hey guys, there's a new virus, stay at home, take care. And the officials in China, in that town, Wuhan, got to know about it. And he had to report to the police. And he had to sign a paper that he has to stop sharing that news, because that is, I don't know how the terminology is, but it was not a proper behavior according to the Chinese regulations. And he had to publicly denounce. So he had a deep self-devaluation. Yeah, because the way they treated him, and that he is not allowed to share anything about that. And it was also in the news that these were false accusations by this doctor, so he did something wrong. And that was shared in the public in China. So he had a deep self-evaluation, and then he got the virus, he and his parents. So when he got the virus, he said, my parents are old, so he went to a hotel, stayed there, isolated himself, but then his symptoms got worse. He was admitted to hospital, he admitted himself, and he passed away. And his parents, who were elderly and maybe even had some general diseases, they survived. So the theory is that because of this deep self-evaluation, being publicly humiliated, that he had to declare that I made something wrong and I misbehaved as a doctor and I spread fear where there is no reason to have warned people, that might have been a humiliation for him. So a deep self-devaluation, and he didn't survive.
Yes, thank you, doctor, for sharing that. And I believe it is the same scenario, the same values and the same beliefs and the same emotions, all the cases they pass through. And I would like to share with you the next slide. It's about the healing sessions, how it went through. Here, okay. Here, after the first session, 50% of the symptoms disappeared, or the weight of the status recovered by 50%. The fever went away, and after the first session, then didn't come back again. The fatigue, they are more energetic by 70-80%. The pain of the body healed by around 70-80%. The headache also reduced to a big amount. And after 4 days, I do another session, and it is the next session. 2 cases, they suffered from losing the sense of smelling and tasting, and they got the sense back again after the second session. My observation, and that was something that I noticed, that the taste and the taste and the smelling is not recovered from the first session. They are recovered on the second session, and that repeated 2 times. And I think that is a pattern, and for sure that has a meaning. And that happened after the second session. What I have noticed that most of the cases shared, and that's for the any questions about the healing sessions and what happened of the first and the second sessions, please?
Yeah, can you just illustrate what you did with them? Was it just cognitive? So what was the setup of the coaching?
Okay, actually for me it was just cognitive coaching, with just cognitive coaching and nothing more, and just by speaking to them to empower themselves, and they have the power to release it, just take it out and empower yourself. It does believe serve you. Do you want to continue like that? Now we understand. Do you know who is responsible for that disease? Who is responsible for that symptoms? Do you know that the coronavirus is there to help you, not to attack you? Because you are the one who give the coronavirus the permission to go inside your body. Because the law of the universe is the law of balance. The corona cannot go inside your body if they're a receiving state. The reception for the coronavirus, and they are aware about the reception is because the evaluation, what they pass through, and I told them, I coached them, why you don't enjoy life? Why you don't enjoy life? Why you keep carrying all this pain all these years? And actually, this kind of questions put the people in a reflection of the in-trance state, and it pushed them and get them back to the original self and to the true self. And that's actually my coaching style, to get back the people to the true self. All of us are aware about the true self, but the point is, our belief and our emotions and our desires sometimes take us out of the true self, because we need to be another self to serve our desires or our dreams or our belief or our victim mood or our whatever, any bad intentions or negative intentions. So the idea is how to connect them to the true self. And when you just blood them to the true self, the positive beliefs and emotions start to flow. From the Chinese medicine view, the disease happens in the body because there is no flow for energy. And it's the same with the cognitive part. There is no flow for positive beliefs. There is no flow for the original self.
That absolutely fits with the findings of a Swiss university in, I think it's Zurich, who found out that the different organs are being affected because of the infection of the endothelial cells of the blood vessels. And that's all about the identity.
Yes. And actually, you know, yesterday I was doing another live for our public community also. I share with them some of the concepts of how the virus is attacking us because we are weak. So it is our responsibility to be strong, not because the virus is stronger than us. This is a misbelief. So I shared with them that there is a research, and I found that research on the NCPI. It says that there is a link between H1N1 cases and anxiety disorders. And they mentioned that research, there is no enough researchers yet to confirm that H1N1 related to the anxiety disorder. But it was interesting research, and it confirms our point of view. And I see that what happening in the world nowadays is the mind-body science is getting more. Is actually people started to know about the mind-body science more, and they are aware now more about the mind-body science and the importance of the mind-body science. Yeah. So I would like to share also the after the healing. I asked some of them, two of them actually, about what they believe about what kind of belief changed in them. Some of them they told me that they are thinking in a positive way about now they started to think positively. One of them, she told me that she is now aware about herself in another way, and I see that there are kind of cognitive change started in their on their belief and their way of thinking and their emotions. Also, I asked them, or I noticed actually, two of them, they told me that it's about the corona effect. Some of them stated that the experience was traumatic. The experience of the coronavirus itself, it was very traumatic for them because they actually they were in kind of in a fight. They considered a fight. At the start, you consider a fight. They are fighting for their life, and that's why it's affected them as it is a traumatic event. And two of them actually told me that it is a traumatic event. The coronavirus is a traumatic event, and I believe that the next phase the next section, if I will do another session with them, is to balance their emotion and the belief about this event, because this may affect them also back again. If there is any questions, please feel free to ask me. I'm told.
So Avnita has got a question, another question, and she asked, what are your ideas, Mohamed, in dealing with the pandemic then? Shielding and protecting the elderly still, social distancing, wear masks, or what would you advise governments if they would listen to you?
Okay, that's a very good question, actually, yes. I believe that the most important part is the mental state and mental emotional state. We need to keep that and be aware about that. And how we keep that and be aware about that? By meditation. We need to practice meditation. And meditation is, it doesn't have to be like the yogi and you sit and you cross your leg. No. The trance state is a state of meditation. You can go and paint, but paint by the intention that you want to release. You want to go through self-discovery. It's not a normal painting. It's a painting for healing. You may do some gardening. You go to your gardening, but do it as a meditation. You notice what's going on in your body while you are gardening or painting, the thoughts that come through your mind, and deal with every thought and balance it. Deal with every thought and balance it. If it is a good thought or a positive belief, empower it. If it is a negative belief, just deal with it. Don't refuse it, just deal with it. This is a kind of meditation. This is a kind of the best healing exercise that we can do. Mental, emotional balance, meditation. I can say also that the food is really an important part, because according to what I teach, as Dr. Kwesi mentioned at the start of the session, I teach a course that is called Detox Plus, and it is in that course I teach them that the effect of the mind on the taste, how when we think about specific idea, we like to take or eat a specific type of food which has a special taste. So taste is linked to what is happening inside our body or happening inside our brain and happening inside on the emotional part. So the taste is a kind of perspective of what is happening on the person. So what I do that on 7 days to balance the taste. So they take and eat moderate or I can say moderate taste food, no extreme sugary food, no extreme salty food. We stay in the balance. No extreme spicy food, because the food and the taste of the food reflect the way we think about our emotions. The person who, for example, they like salty and the salt taste, and they have a high amount of dosage of eating salty foods. That's refer to the fear, kidney, the past. So the inability to deal with the past and the fear and insecurity and weakness in the kidney, and also related to the bladder, and also all the meanings from the mental health perspective related to the kidney and the bladder. Also, it may get reflected on the taste. They may like to eat salty food. And so balancing the food is balancing the cognitive part, but in another dimension. So I can start heal myself by eating healthy. So I would like to advise that try to go to the plant-based diet as much as you can. The plant-based diet is the best healing diet. That's my advice here for that part.
Okay, so Mohamed, we have almost got the time over. We have normally 9 minutes for the future for Friday's meeting. So what else do you want to share with us, Mohamed? That's been fantastic what you've discovered and how you're sharing.
Actually, I would like to share that the healing is within everyone. We can do it. It is just we need to empower the person and to believe about themselves and to activate the healing power. Self-discovery is the best journey, and the people who got the corona disease, I took them to a self-discovery journey, and when I took them to that journey, they got an awareness. They changed the belief. They changed what they believe about this traumatic event. And when they changed what they believe about the past, the future became brighter. So believing in the now, believing in the power in the now is a healing way, or the healing door we can take. I would like to ask you, Dr. Kwesi, and also if any one of the attendees want to share their thoughts and what the see and believe about what I shared.
Yes, I want to share something, Mohamed, and I even forgot it, just Susanne Billenberg reminded me of that. Why is malaria medicine a treatment for COVID-19? Because malaria has got the same emotional and mental root cause of the COVID-19 symptoms. I almost died of malaria in 1998, and it was a deep self-devaluation conflict because at that time I was full of ego and I wanted to become an eye surgeon, to go to Ghana and operate cataract and to present myself as the big redeemer. And I am not designed to be a surgeon. Good, because there would be a lot of blind people if I would have become a surgeon. So when I let that go, I got malaria. And it's the same self-esteem aspect like with COVID-19 that you've shared. And that's why malaria medication is also seems to be good for the medication for COVID-19. So that's a similarity. So thank you, Susanne, for reminding me. I even forgot that.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mike. And I would like to ask you, Dr. Kwesi, what do you think about this discovery? Do you think it is helpful for the people? It may help them to go to the healing session faster, or and what area it covered, or
yes, because you have translated the findings of the science. You have translated it in the meta language and in the language of traditional Chinese medicine. It's affecting the lungs. That is the expectation, and the self-esteem is the blood vessels. The grief is the kidneys. Yeah, so everything completely fits, and just depending where one has maybe more aspects. Is it more the expectation that I fear, or is it more the self-esteem where I'm affected, or is it more maybe the grief? Then different organs might be affected, and because the smelling. So where does the smelling go to? Which element, Mohamed? You can share that at the end. The smelling.
Yes, the smelling is related to the lungs. So it refers that the lungs is not yet totally healed yet, and the tasting is to the heart, and that's quite interesting because I say that the involved organs are the lungs and the heart and the kidney.
And we know from meta that the lungs the heart also, if it's a heart muscle, it has to do with the overwhelm. And if it's more the vessels, then it's an identity conflict. So that also fits in that. And from my perspective, this is very, 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 very valuable. What you have shared. And when I look at the faces here from our colleagues, this will be value for them with even for the prevention. Because like, I think it was Teresa from who shared that she had a shock with the husband who passed away, then the dog passed away, but she could empower herself. And if you know that it's about self-esteem, thank you, Teresa, and about self-confidence. Yeah, so Teresa, you share, yes.
One thing more I would like to add is also from my own experience. I believe that we talked about being touched. This is an opportunity for us to be in touch with our own emotions. What I think is happening is because of all the people that are dying, we may suppress our little world. For example, because my dog died on the 10th of March, I was struggling to grieve him. But then I broke through, and because I have 2 dogs, when I was walking the other one, I went in the countryside, I was crying. But it was a healthy crying. I was grieving. I was allowing myself to be with my own pain, no matter how many people were dying. I was also praying for the others, but I was not suppressing my own little grief. And this is not easy to do because we may feel guilty. Or why am I allowed to be sad because I don't have a job now? People have died, so am I not allowed? I don't know if it makes sense.
Okay.
It makes a lot of sense, and it's necessary. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Teresa, and thank you so much, Mohamed, because this absolutely goes in line with the study project that we have elaborated on and want to promote now, because this is all about self-empowerment and the background that this has, why we get some symptoms or not, or react resilient, and how we actually can support this being resilient with different methods, either in nutrition, in diet, in other supplements, but mainly, of course, in our mental state. So in our self-empowerment. And this is the easier, of course, when we know what has been behind for each and every one of us, where we feel or felt vulnerable before, and where this could re-trigger certain things coming up for us. And then we have the tools and the means to deal with that. So this is what Meta Health is all about. So thank you so much, Mohamed. And I would so gladly invite you to take part in the study project where we want to meet with a group of people who are deliberately exposing themselves naturally to a virus. This means to an infected person. And then we stay together. And then we empower each other and have fun together and meditate together and do all of that to enable for researchers to show what happens or does not happen when we can meet this coronavirus.
Actually, that's a pleasure for me. Actually, I would like for sure to participate in such a research. That's really interesting for me. Actually, I like researches a lot, and that's why I started that research. And really deeply from my heart, thank you very much for being here. It's an honor to be between you all. It's an honor for me to share my research with different people from all over the world. Thank you very much, and I would like to, and I hope that what I have shared is beneficial for you all. And for sure, I would like to answer any questions you can send me anytime. I will answer your questions. And also, if there is any activities that you think I can participate in or join with you, well, for sure, I would like that.
Yeah, this is really great. So I put the link to our project already in the chat, and I can share it again with you. This is
yes,
immunewithoutfear.eu, because it was for European Union, but it's of course open to everybody. And we are waiting. You can scan through that project. We had several sites elaborating those different means and what we want to do. And then you can just register as somebody who is an inspirer of health, and to teach to other people to take part. So I would be very, very pleased.
Okay, me too, sure. I'm already pleased from now. Thank you very much. And thank you, Dr. Kwesi. Actually, Dr. Kwesi, when I told him that I found these and these and these, he just called me, and when he read the message, and he was very humble, listening to me, and he invited me to that event. And I found a person is keen to help the world and keen to share what I have found with the world. Thank you very much from my deep heart. From the first time I met you in Sharm el-Sheikh, actually, I consider you a very special person for me, and I know that you know that and you feel that.
Thank you very much, Mohamed. I can just think about you. And I'm even thinking of inviting you to the German community, because a lot of Germans are invited. They said their English is not so good. So let's be in communication about that. And I can create an event for the Germans, and we can do the translation. If Kowa accepts that. Yeah.
Sure.
And yes, and actually I believe we can make the world a better place. Mm-hmm. And that's my intention. And I think we can all do something together. And let's do it.
Like Che Guevara said, let's be realistic let's do the impossible.
Yeah. Yes.
And he was a
great.
medical doctor.
And these are really good closing words for today's session. So thank you so much, everyone here in the room. And I just want to remind you that next week's session will be Dr. Rihab from Egypt, who wants to lead a group session with a quantum technique. And this is about helping the virus to fulfill its role. So this is very, very exciting. Looking forward to that. And so this will be on the same link. So everyone who already has joined here will be able to use the same link to participate in next week's Friday for Future session.
Thank you very much.
So, thank you. Shukran, Mohamed. Shukran.
Shukran, everyone. Shukran.
Shukran.
Okay, so let's remember what Dr. Anton said the last time: learning, loving, and laughing. Yeah. And the fourth one is letting go.
Yes, letting go.
Okay.
Yes.
So see you next week. Bye.
Okay, see you. Bye-bye.
See you. See you. Bye-bye.
Yes, there's going to be a recording. Yes. For the
Okay,
community.
that's
And
great. That's great.
look at the MHIM website and Koa will post it there.